The Roles and Permissions special feature webinar will demonstrate how you can best utilize the different roles in CBRNResponder in both the organization and event space to prepare for a real-world event. Just some background on roles and permissions. Personnel in CBRNResponder can be assigned organization roles, event roles, or a combination of both. These roles determine what an individual can view and manage in CBRNResponder. And these roles can be managed and updated at any point by an administrator, planner, or personnel manager. So just to highlight what basically a role is in CBRNResponder, that role gives the user various permissions, and again, either the event, organization space, or both spaces. An organization role is for personnel who are going to be responsible for setting up parts of the organization. This can include setting up standing field teams, facilities, equipment, or managing personnel. A default event role is assigned to the organization space to ensure the members of your organization will have specific permissions when an event is created with your organization as the sponsor. Now I'm going to go through the process of the organization roles. I'm going to start at when an organization is first created and then kind of build off of that into how you can best set up your organization. So when you do have an organization that is first created in CBRNResponder, you must have an administrator assigned to your organization. And the organization administrator is kind of the do-all. They can manage all aspects of the organization, and this includes organization details, assessment policies, account requests, managing personnel and partners, standing teams, equipment and facilities, data feeds. They can approve sponsoring new organization requests, and it can create and manage all events that their organization sponsors. So as the organization administrator, you should be the only one changing the organization details. So this would include the name of your organization and location. You are the only user that can change these details. And it's also probably not necessary to have more than 3 or 4 organization admins. It can get a little chaotic if 12 people on your organization all have that role. So it's best to keep it to a low number. That way you know who's responsible for it. It's also the organization admin's responsibility to delegate tasks of the organization to other personnel in that organization. The organization admin, along with the planner and personnel manager, should also keep up with the organization maintenance. So if someone does leave your organization, you want to make sure you remove them from the personnel list in CBRNResponder. And then they can also utilize the invitation feature to easily add new people to your organization at any time. So to start, you have that one administrator as part of your organization. As your organization continues to grow, this is where you can start delegating tasks to other personnel. The planner role is sort of the right-hand man to the admin. So this role is for someone who should have most of the rights of an admin, but again, only that admin role can edit the details of the organization, such as the name and location, but the planner can do almost all of the same things as the admin. So here is just a little comparison between the two roles because they are a little similar. So the admin can manage all aspects of an organization. The planner can manage most. The administrator can approve sponsorship, account, and membership requests and invite new users. And the planner can only approve account and membership requests, and they can also invite new users. The administrator role can only be revoked and assigned by other administrators. And on the other hand, the planner role can be revoked and assigned by any admin any other planners or personnel managers on the organizations. And as I said, the administrator can edit those organization details. So once you have your administrator and your planner, you want to start delegating some of those specific tasks out to other members of the organization. So some responsibilities you want to think about: who should review pending account requests? That should typically be the personnel manager role. So this is typically the next role that should be delegated to a member of the organization. They're responsible for approving account requests for your organization. Along with the admin and planner role, they can invite new users, approve the user and membership account requests, and add and remove roles of any users in the organization. And by default, only the users with the personnel manager role assigned will receive email notifications for new account requests. On the organization dashboard, the personnel manager, along with the admin and planner, they can see this pending request tile, and they can quickly adjudicate and view these pending account requests from the organization dashboard. The personnel manager can edit, remove, and add roles of personnel under the Personnel tab in the organization space. On this page, they will see all existing personnel in their organization, as well as the organization roles, default event roles, and their contact information. As the personnel manager, you will see these following options. And to reiterate, if you are the admin and planner, you will see these as well. The Export to Excel button, if you click this, you will receive an Excel report of all users in the organization, as well as their roles and contact information. The View Request button is a drop-down that I will show a little more in depth later, but it will give you option to view pending account requests for your organization. The Invite New Users button, I will also touch on a little more in depth. The Manage button is where you will manage existing personnel on your organization. So there you can update their roles both for the organization and default event. You can also add different users ad hoc to your organization. And then that little question mark button provides an explanation of all the different roles, both organization and default event. So now I'll go through the buttons a little bit more in depth. As the personnel manager, if you click that View Request button, you will see two options: View Membership Requests and View Account Requests. So as I said earlier, the admin is the only one who can adjudicate the sponsorship requests. So the personnel manager and planner will not see that sponsorship request option in the dropdown, but the administrator will. The membership request page will show all the membership requests for existing users that want to become a member of your organization. The View Account Request button will take you to all the pending account requests you do have for your organization. And here you can click into them to review those requests. The pending sponsorship request page, and this button will only be seen again by the organization admin. All new organizations in CBRNResponder that are pending approval, they must select a organization sponsor per se, and the request is to vouch that they are a legitimate organization and they should exist in CBRNResponder. Now to use the invite feature, the personnel manager, planner, and admin can utilize this feature on either the personnel page where I showed that button, or there is an invitations page on the left-hand side menu that you can also view all existing invitations. To generate an invitation, you will click the Invite New Users button, and you will be asked to enter the expiration date of your choice and then click Create Invitation. Once the invitation has been created, you can copy and paste it into your own external email to send to users outside of CBRNResponder. And you want to make sure you include the invitation password as well as the invitation link. Once the invitation has been created, you can view those details at any time. You can also view who has created and requested an account from the invites. Another role of the personnel manager is they can manage existing roles for users in their organization. So they will click the Manage button, and they will be brought to this Manage view. And here's where you, as the personnel manager, planner, or admin, could uncheck or check specific roles. You can also remove them from the organization by clicking that Remove button. So that would be used if someone is leaving your organization, you do not want them to have access to your organization anymore. You can use that Remove button. And then once you're done, you can just click Save Changes. And that little question mark button there on the right, at any point, if you need a refresher on the different events and a description of them, you will be able to click that button, and Emoto will pop up with all the different roles and a description of each. So now that we have the personnel manager set, we want to then think about the next part of our organization we want to have in order, which could be the equipment. So you want to think about who would be responsible for uploading, updating, and maintaining your organization's equipment inventory. And this user should have the equipment manager role. So just a description of that role, this would be used for the person or persons that would be responsible for uploading and maintaining your equipment inventory in CBRNResponder. They can create, edit, import, and delete equipment records. They can do the same for the maintenance records, so they have the ability to set maintenance schedules and then enter maintenance records. And the user with this role will also be the one to receive the weekly maintenance report for their organization to their email. The equipment manager can also see a tile that shows the equipment that has maintenance coming due or that is overdue. And they can click those magnifying glass icons next to the equipment item to take a closer look. To view all the equipment items in your organization, you can navigate to the equipment page in the organization space. And this is where you can assign equipment, edit the details, export and import equipment, and download the maintenance report. So now we do have the admin, a planner, personnel manager, and the equipment manager. So we have thought about those two responsibilities. The next one would be, in the case of a real world incident, who should be responsible for creating an event? This would be the event creator. This role is for the person or persons responsible for creating an event on behalf of your organization. They have the ability to create, edit, and delete events. And this user will automatically be assigned the event manager role, which is an event level role, which I'll get into a bit later. And they can manage all aspects of an event, including responders, partners, teams, alerts, and user uploaded GIS files. On the organization dashboard, there will be an events button that you can click, and this will navigate you to the event list page. Here you can see all existing events, and you also have the option to create an event by clicking that green Create Event button. You do also have the ability to create an event from the hazard-specific home pages or from the event menu dropdown. So now we have the admin, the planner, we have a personnel manager who's responsible for managing the different roles. We have someone who is in charge of maintaining and updating the equipment. And we have a person designated to create an event in the case of a real-world incident. A few other roles in your organization. The first would be the assessment manager, and this would be for the person responsible for managing an organization's assessment policy or policies and the assessment delegates. The dosimetry manager is for anyone who needs to manage the dosimetry data for all of the events that the organization sponsors. This role is only available for organizations that have the RAD hazard type enabled. So if you are a strictly chemical organization, you will not see this role. The PIO role is a new role that we have just added to CBRNResponder. So PIO is the Public Information Officer, and this is for someone who should be managing resource sets to send to users on the mobile app. They can send these to anyone in the organization or anyone on the events that the organization sponsors. So this, just a reminder, this is a new role, and you must be using the CBRNResponder app to utilize this mobile resource set function. And I will just give a little brief description of the mobile resource sets, since I know that is a new feature and we haven't really given a big description of it yet. So mobile resource sets are a group of resources in CBRNResponder, such as documents, tools, and videos that are customized for specific users. These sets can then be sent to targeted users on the CBRNResponder mobile app. And those users can then view, download, and access these resource sets from their mobile app in the field. Another role that we have is laboratory roles, and these are only for RAD responder organizations. The lab organizations are very limited in functionality and are only meant to receive and review lab analysis requests and send analytical results. So there is the laboratory manager, and this gives the user the right to upload documents, receive, send samples, and view analysis requests within the portal. The laboratory viewer can view the analysis requests that are assigned to the organization, but cannot upload documents or receive and send those samples such as the manager can. The other role we do have at the organization level is the API client manager. This role is for equipment manufacturers who are responsible for integrating with CBRNResponder. If you would like more information on integrating with our equipment API, you can reach out to us at support@cbrnresponder.net. Now that we have the organization in place, you are ready for a real-world event. So how the event roles would work, the organization can assign the default event roles. And as I said before, these roles will automatically be assigned to your personnel when events are created and your organization is the sponsor. So you will not have to go into the event, give all the users roles again. They should automatically be assigned. You can, however, manually adjust these roles on an event by event basis if you have the correct permissions. So on a specific event, if you have a partner but you may not want them to see certain information, you can change their role on your event manually. And when your organization is added as a partner to someone else's event, all users will retain the default event roles on the partner event, except for the event manager. So at the organization level, either the admin, planner, or personnel manager can assign default event roles. And the event roles are pretty similar to some of the organization roles. There are certain roles that when selected will automatically assign certain event roles. So at the organization level, if you have the administrator, event creator, or planner role, the data viewer, event manager, and team manager role will automatically be assigned to you anytime an event is created. The first role I will discuss is the data viewer role. This role is assigned to all accounts by default when they are first created, and users with this role can view all data on the data tables and on the event map. The users with this role cannot edit or collect data. The only time you would really want to uncheck this role is if you are assigning the data viewer for approved data only, which I will then go over here. So this is the data viewer approved data only role. This user is only going to see data points that have been considered approved by the events assessment policies. At the top of all the data tables, this user will see this little warning message that says, note, you only have permission to see approved. It will say the data type, in this case, field surveys, and it will give you the percentage of surveys or the data type that has been assessed up to this point. The data collector role should be assigned to all responders who need to submit or edit data via the website or mobile app. This user can create and manage mixtures, analysis requests, import sample results, upload GIS files, and create user drawings on the map. The data assessor role should be delegated to the QA or QC users or the assessment teams. With this role, they will automatically have the data viewer role as well. That way they can view and assess this data. The next role is the event manager role. This role is for the personnel who would need to manage and customize events on behalf of the organization. So this role I would compare a little bit to, it would be the admin of the event in a sense. The event manager role will give that user the team manager and the data viewer role. So just to highlight, they can edit an event's details, manage all aspects of the event, initiate or approve an event merge, and assign responders and equipment to field teams. The team manager role should be assigned to all field team leaders or field team coordinators. The team manager can create, edit, delete, and manage an event's field teams, and they can also assign personnel and equipment to those field teams. There are two dosimetry roles at the event level. The dosimetry manager is for anyone who would need to manage the dosimetry data for all of the events that their organization sponsors. And the dosimetry viewer is for anyone who would need to view the dosimetry data for all of their organization's events. And just a reminder on that, this is only for events that have the radiological hazard type enabled. So if it's a chem only event, you will not see these roles or the dosimetry page. There's also a PIO role at the event level. Again, this is a new role, so it is at the organization and the event level. At the event level, the PIO role can only send those mobile resource sets and create those sets at the event level. So now that we went over the different organization and event roles, I can now show how you yourself can view your own event roles and organization roles. So once you are logged into CBRNResponder, you should see your name in the upper right corner, and click that and a drop down will open that you can select profile. If you scroll down, you will see an organization membership section, and this will show you the organizations you belong to, as well as your roles and default event roles for that organization. Similar to that, you can view your event membership roles in the section below. So depending on how many events your organization has created, you can use that search feature there to find a specific one, and then you can view the roles you have for that specific event. So that wraps up the basics on roles and permissions in CBRNResponder and how you can best utilize the roles in an organization and event space, and how the importance of delegating out specific tasks within your organization ahead of time can aid in a real world event.